Welcome, ladies, to the Real Estate Investor Show, providing inspiration, strategies, and insight to empower women investors to live balanced and financially free lives. Now, here are your co-hosts, Liz and Andresa.
Investors, as we all know, financing deals can be very challenging. If you are looking for funding for your next real estate transaction, we want to introduce you to Fund That Flip.
Fund That Flip is a lender that gets you fast and affordable capital on your 1 to 4 unit projects, including single family rental and new construction.
Ladies, we have known the founder, Matt, and his company for many years, and they are the real deal. So, Andresa, where can they learn more?
Ladies, if you're looking for great terms and reliable service, check out fundthatflip.com/investor.
Welcome back, ladies. This is Liz.
And this is Andresa.
Welcome back to the Real Estate Investor Show. We are back with another mini-sode.
Woohoo!
Yeah, and our goal here is to share a life lesson with you that has happened to either myself or Andresa or both of us.
Yep.
In 10 minutes or less. So let's get to it, because these are all about efficiency, but going deep as well. So what we're going to talk about on this episode is I'm going to talk about investing with your spouse, which is certainly a hot topic.
Yes.
And I'll never forget it, Andresa. It was in 2008. My husband turned to me and said, if we don't change something, we are headed for a divorce.
Oh boy.
Yeah, those are pretty big words, right? So
Yeah.
these were the words that he said to me one day. We were working from home back, I think it was either 08 or 09. The years are starting to blend a little bit. But it was basically during one of our many arguments about working together in our real estate business. And I can remember the day like it was yesterday, because I looked at him and I got really upset. It takes a lot for me to actually get upset. And after getting upset, I kind of cooled off. I thought about what he said, and I was like, he's right. He is 100% right. And we had to change something, both for our business and for our personal life. So before I continue, I just want to rewind a little bit to give a little bit of context to where we were in our kind of career of working together, just
right.
So I can not give you a long bio, because we don't have that kind of time. But I just want to give a brief kind of like where we were. So we started our company in 2006, and we started it together. But the goal when we started was my husband was going to quit his job and work full time, and I was going to keep working in my consulting business, so that one of us kind of had that income coming in to support our efforts. So that was great. I did that for a while, and then in 2008, I decided to leave my job and work with him full time. So he had already been full time at that point. So again, that was in 2008, and as I mentioned, 2009, this conversation had happened. Basically, let me fast forward a little bit now, 2013. So it didn't work for a few years. And then I ended up going back to my work, going back to my job.
Okay.
And then leaving again for the second time in 2013. And at that point, I had my son, and, we had, basically fast forward, we have a much healthier business relationship because we've had to do this a couple times working together, me leaving, me coming back kind of thing. So I wanted to share just a few thoughts with everyone about working with your spouse, because Matt and I have done it right and we've done it wrong. And we've had a lot of high points and we've had a lot of low points, like the conversation we had about where we're headed in terms of getting a divorce, which is a tough conversation. So a couple of things I wanted to share was, number one, how do you get your spouse on board? And then number two, when they're on board, how do you actually work with them? And what are some key things you need to keep in mind? So, the conversation I have with a lot of investors is, they say, oh, I'm really interested in investing, but my spouse, my partner just is not. How do I get them to come around? So I think the biggest reason that spouses or partners, if you will, are not on the same page with you is because you don't have shared goals. You don't have shared goals and a shared vision of your life together. And I know that seems kind of like cliche, like have a shared goal, have a shared vision. But you know what? That's the crux of why some partners are into it and some partners aren't, because they may not have that shared, agreed upon where are we headed together in not just in our business, but in our life.
Yeah, I see them like inside a little boat, and one, you roll to the left and the other one rolling to the right. So it's not going to the same direction.
So long before we started the DeRosa Group, long before we even bought our first duplex, Matt and I sat together when we were engaged together. We would talk about what's important to us. What are our goals? What are our values? We talked about this kind of stuff. We were complete dorks. I know that's not usually the first few dates that people have to go like, tell me your goals. Where do you want to be in 10 years? So as soon as we would talk about this stuff, I'm like, oh, this guy, this is someone I want to hold on to because it was special, right? Because it wasn't like most guys I met in their 20s. That's not the conversation you have. So we talked about all this and we really were so aligned. Now, Matt and I get to the goal very differently and we have very different styles and we can go into that, but we actually are very aligned when it comes to what we value. So that's number one. If you are trying to get your spouse enrolled and they're not as enrolled as you are, have you had the conversation of where do you want to see yourselves in 5 years, in 10 years, in 1 year? And if you have that shared vision together, then you work backwards. Well, how are we going to get there? Obviously, it's going to need finances or lifestyle. So that's just one quick tip. The other thing is you have to seek to understand, then to be understood. That is literally the most important thing you could do in communication with your spouse as you try to kind of navigate this investing together is, do you want to be understood or are you trying to understand? And I think that's really important as you kind of navigate this too. The other big tips I would say, because I really want to get some other key suggestions to you, because again, Matt and I have done it well and we have not done it well. And I just want to share some key things. Number one, have clear roles and responsibilities and stay in each other's lanes. The first time we worked together, that was disastrous. We didn't stay in each other's lanes.
What does that mean?
It means establish what your role is and then stay in that lane. Yeah. So it's twofold. You can't just stay in the lane if you don't have a role. So you have to have those, you have to have those clear roles and expectations. The second thing I would say too is have clarity of your personality strengths. And I'm a big proponent of that. We've done episodes on kind of getting clear on your personality strengths, but you need to leverage what you both are good at.
Yes.
Don't just fill in the blank. And so many times in small businesses or, you have a portfolio, you just do whatever it takes to get it done. And yeah, we all do that at times, but you kind of need to be mindful of like, okay, is this role aligned with my strengths? And is this role aligned with what I'm good at? So that's number two. Number three, there's 6 of them. Number 3, I want to really encourage you is to get clear with your spouse on your relationship to money. Because you cannot invest together if you do not have a clear idea of how you both relate to money. And I would highly recommend the Millionaire Mind Intensive. It's a phenomenal weekend. Andresa, you've done it as well.
Yes, 100%.
And through that weekend, you will get very clear on your relationship to money and his. And now you may very well know you're a saver, you're a spender. You may know all that about yourself. But have you had that conversation with your spouse? It's so helpful. That was a therapeutic weekend for Matt and I because really, I remember crying with him and we got really clear on our relationship to money, which really helped us become better at building a business and investing together. Number 4 is just, you have to be masters at communication. If you are going to work with your spouse, if you are going to invest with your spouse, not only do you have to be good communicators just to be married in this world, but you have to be an exceptional communicator to actually work and invest and like live your life with your spouse. You can't be average at it. You can't be pretty good. Like literally you have to be a master at it and you have to take workshops, do whatever therapeutic way, like avenues to get there. 100%. I would highly recommend on that. I know Andresa would also agree with me is the Landmark Forum.
Yes.
It's a phenomenal in your face, unravel your life weekend where again, you will become better communicators together as a couple. So
yeah, hands down.
Number 5, I would say, make sure you have date nights. Make sure you have trips as just a married couple. And I know business comes up a lot, but for Matt and I, for our 10-year anniversary, we went to California and we would talk about business here and there, but mostly it was fun. So I would highly, highly recommend that you just do trips and even just go out to dinner and just have fun together.
Something simple, yes.
Huge. It's so huge. And you have to do that in the midst of everything. And then number 6 is make sure you do things individually. So if you're going to work together, invest together, all that good stuff, do some personal development, some self-care do it individually. So if that means you go on a girls' weekend with your friends, or if that means that, you know, the guy, you know, the you know, whatever the relationship is, but one person does one thing, another person does another thing. So do a lot together, but make sure you do some self-renewal by yourself, because you will get filled up and be able to be much more effective in your communication, and you'll be effective in working together and investing together. So I could probably go on and on this topic, but
this is great though. This is so good.
Those are some, 6 key things you want to implement. And then again, peeling back the layer of the onion, make sure you're even on the same page by having some shared goals, and really get communicative with your partner. So hope that was helpful as a mini-sode. You ladies are amazing.
Yes. Let us know what you guys thought about it. Share the comments on our Facebook group, the Investor Community. And if you're not in, send us an email and we'll get you in. There are amazing ladies out there that are looking to support you on your growth. So check us out, facebook.com/investor community.
Awesome. Thanks, ladies.
Thank you. If you enjoyed this podcast and want to receive updates on our next interviews, go to our website, therealestateinvestor.com. There, you can subscribe to our show, become part of our investor community, and get updates on upcoming episodes.
If you like our show, please share it with other women who would benefit. And don't forget to leave us a rating on iTunes. We'd really appreciate it. And as always, we encourage you to take one action as a result of today's show and put it into motion so you can live both a financially free and balanced life. Thanks for spending time with us.
Ciao.